We saw how Cardano price reacted to Shelly. Now we have Goguen error just around the corner. And after a few weeks of consolidation, Cardano taking a little bit of a breather, what is in store for Cardano price and why it is more bullish than ever? What's up, everyone? Thanks for coming by Crypto Capital Venture. Hit the subscribe on the way in. Let's jump into the video. You can see the consolidation that has taken place. This is the 6-hour chart. But what I want to do is I want to start first and lay some context to the bullishness that is in store for Cardano. If you're invested in Cardano, you're just like me, maybe, potentially, invested because there's just so much going on in the project. And there's just so much potential for vast growth that I'm just bullish on Cardano price and the upside potential, especially being $1.33 is the all-time high for Cardano. It is cheap right now, still sitting at 12.5 cents. Cardano's next phase, Goguen, consists of 3 main features, include native assets, the Plutus Foundation, and the Plutus Application Framework. Plutus being the platform that smart contracts are built on, off-chain and on-chain, written in Haskell. Hoskinson stated that the rollout of the new features in Goguen will enable Cardano to be extremely competitive in the DeFi sector. He added that the IOHK has been in discussion with partners to identify the first useful use cases, including stablecoins, oracles, and decentralized exchanges. He said, once you have these 3 things, we're extremely competitive for DeFi. There will be a lot of cool things that will make Cardano the desired platform for a beautiful DeFi portfolio. I mean, there's just so much, everybody, and it's going to continue through the end of this year into next year, and that's just the bottom line. I found this poll. This was a couple months ago. I just thought it was interesting. Once Goguen is out, what percentage of Ethereum smart contracts do you think will move over to Cardano? This was 140 votes. There's not a lot of votes here, but more than 25% basically, or 140 votes saying more than 25% of Ethereum smart contracts will move to Cardano. And I think this is interesting because I was talking to a buddy of mine and he thinks the same thing. And I think a lot of people think that. And that's not a bad thing. This is technology. This is what happens, especially people working in technology, trying different platforms, moving, especially if you're unhappy with certain things happening. Speaking of Ethereum, if you like Ethereum, so do I, everybody. Listen, at the end of the day, I'm here for gains, right? I tweeted this. This was the beginning of August. This is like exactly a month ago. Ethereum smashes 380, eyeing up 400, running out of time to get at least 32 ETH unless you want to overpay. So I don't know what side of the fence you're on. Obviously, if you're watching this video, most likely Cardano. But don't discount Ethereum and the gains that lie ahead of, not only from a price perspective, but also just the project itself, right? So don't discount it. At least I'm not discounting it. And again, at the end of the day, I'm here for some gains. Cardano price. Take a quick look at this video from August 5th. Now, just as Cardano could break to the upside, right, and see a bullish move, it could also break through support and see a bearish move coming all the way down here to this 11 cent area. And this is a 6-hour chart, but it really gives you an idea. This on the daily is the 50-day moving. Okay, so there it is. Now, we dipped below that. That's a huge dip. And just for context, here's a 6-hour chart. I did the video right around here, August 5th or so, somewhere in there. And you can see we've dipped 28%. This is why I always talk about the potential for dips, especially when something like Cardano is like up over 700%. It's healthy. It's good. But one thing I want to point out now that we have seen this dip, and it went below the 11 cent area that we were talking about in that video. I mean, we worked down here to low 10 cent area. But what's good about that is on these oscillators, on these momentum oscillators, especially when we start zooming out on the chart, Cardano has, again, room for upside. And going into the Goguen era, going into what's coming, even in the cryptocurrency markets, if the markets continue bullish, Bitcoin trading just above 12,000, if that continues, right? If volume steps in, there's room now for Cardano to continue to the upside. So we hit a target to the downside after kind of breaking through the symmetrical triangle trend line that we had in those videos. And now we can look at some other things going on. This was an interesting setup I was watching. I removed the wicks, right? Sometimes you can chart without wicks, with wicks. there's so many different patterns at any given time. But one thing is true in regards to this 6-hour chart is we had a pretty clear lower trend line, and this is stemming back to the end of July. So this is pretty lengthy, right? And what I want to just point out real quick is in recent days, Cardano has broken back above that lower trend line. That's a big deal, right? So in regards to this entire setup, we didn't necessarily hit a target breakout all the way to the downside, probably in the 9 cent area. But we did break the lower trend line, and I think it's very big on the short-term charts that Cardano broke back above that lower trend line. And that was just a series of lower lows that Cardano had fallen into in this consolidation pattern. Going to the daily chart, this is really what I was really interested to kind of show you, is this daily chart. When Cardano came down, right, and we consolidated at 28% or so, this whole area, right around 10.5 cents or so, if we zoom out on the chart, this is so crucial for Cardano to have seen support, because not only was it a big deal right here where Cardano broke, this is the beginning of July, it broke this swing high from last summer. That was a big deal, but potentially even a bigger deal is in this recent consolidation, Cardano actually saw support at that area, and we've recently bounced up. And you can see the last 5 days, these are daily candles here. You can just see Cardano doing pretty well, right? Now, on the very short term, this is what I start to keep my eye on now. Will we test that area again? Will we go into that 10 cent area once again to just retest it for support, and then finally bounce up for a stronger bounce that many are hoping for? One thing to note on this chart, the stop and reversal indicator has just kind of, this was actually yesterday's daily candle has been put in. That is very, in my opinion, a strong indicator on a daily chart, a weekly chart, no matter if you're on Cardano, if you're on Bitcoin, whatever it is, historically has been very, very helpful. If you just go back in the charts for Cardano or Bitcoin and just look at that stop and reversal on the daily or the weekly, you can see when it gets put in, probably a majority of the time, there is strong upside after that happening. Not guaranteed, but on these zoomed out charts, there's a lot of potential for upside. The other thing on this daily chart I do want to just take note of is the fact that Cardano finally really consolidated. I mean, we didn't quite get into oversold. We got very close to oversold on the oscillators. You can just see Cardano just hanging out down here on the stock RSI, the quicker moving momentum oscillator, for a while, finally seeing a turnaround to the upside. Nowhere near overbought on this RSI. And then if you look at the MACD, you can see we have the signal line getting ready to cross on this MACD. So bullish cross potentially getting ready to happen with the MACD getting ready to cross the signal line. So a lot of bullish potential, bullish momentum for Cardano. Lastly, if we go over to the weekly chart, one thing I just want to note is this. And this is probably the most important thing, because we want all of these things to happen fast. We want them all to happen on the shorter term time frames, but that's usually not the way things work, right? We talk about all these targets that we have. If you zoom out on this chart, you can actually see the bullish target we've been talking about is upwards of 40 to 50 cents coming out of this falling wedge, this falling channel that Cardano has recently broken out of in June area, right? We have a really solid target, but along the way, we're going to have consolidation. I mean, this was over a month of consolidation, and that probably won't be the last time. So what I want to talk about is this. The 50-week moving average, this blue line right here, when we start getting in an uptrend, it needs to catch up, right? And the only thing that really matters on this macro chart is that Cardano trades above the 50-week moving average. So while it would be awesome if it just explodes and we start breaking 20 cents, 30 cents, and we get to that 40 to 50 cent target quickly, there is potential that we see this 50-week moving average just kind of close in a little bit on Cardano price. We might get some sideways trading for a little bit. We might revisit the 10 cent area, right, to let this 50-week moving average catch up. The one good thing on this zoomed out weekly chart is this. Again, we are actually, if you look at this stock RSI, this quicker moving momentum oscillator at the bottom of the screen, you can see actually it's kind of gone into oversold, That's good, meaning we're not overbought anymore. And certainly we're not overbought anymore on the weekly RSI, the slower moving momentum oscillator. And that's extremely good. This is worrisome. In Bitcoin, Cardano, anything, whenever it's up here, it's worrisome. If it's that overbought, majority of the time, there's a strong correction coming. And you can see that has happened here on Cardano. If you look at these charts, right, Ethereum, I like to compare Ethereum a lot, but you can see Ethereum getting ready to break 500, and that's actually overbought now. So from a momentum oscillator perspective, Cardano, once again, has more momentum, more upside potential than something like Ethereum because of what Cardano has done over the last month or so with its consolidation. So that's what we're looking at. Really what I wanted to talk about the most is kind of these support areas, these resistance areas for Cardano, because in the very short term, I would say what I'm looking for is this short-term resistance illustrated on this chart, literally right around 12.5 cents. Also resistance the last week of August, and you can just see it here, 12.5 cents, kind of a big resistance area. We're sitting there now. I'd be very curious to see what happens in the short term if we can break back above it. But that's simply what I'm watching for now. We know we have bullish targets to the upside, everyone. It's just a matter of time. It's a matter of healthy consolidation and patience. Let me know your thoughts below. I appreciate you cruising by. If you're here, not a subscriber, hit the subscribe button. I will see you all in the next video. Have a good day, and God bless.